Hello everybody, welcome to JLABTV. I'm JLAB and this is Football Manager 2017 Unemployment Challenge, and I'm looking at Mark Bresnick's profile because he's been out since August early in the season due to a damaged Achilles tendon which will keep him out for another 3 to 6 weeks. He has missed most of the season so far and I feel really disappointed for him because he has been such a magnificent servant for the club. In 96 games, he's scored 67 goals in the league since joining in 2020. And in his 4th year is the season that he's out due to really serious injury, which he secured on the 12th of August 2023. And really, it's just been one of those seasons that you don't want to see anyone suffer from. But yeah, he just had a really bad luck. Last season he was only out for around 3 weeks. This year he's already out for 5 months. It's his worst ever injury that he could ever have imagined getting. I'm disappointed he's out because he's been my key player for so many years. I don't know how long he'll be out. I don't know if he'll ever reach the heights of what he did ever again, or if he'll ever be as good as he once was. But I hope he does continue to do well, and I hope he will get to double figures in the next full season he's able to play in, because he was in really good form. He only needs to get 8 more goals to reach double figures this year, but he won't get the 23 goals this season, and that's a disappointment for me. But enough about Mark Bresnick. I'm going to show you all the interesting games that happened in the first half of the league campaign, and show you a club that I have been linked with after they sacked their manager. The first game of great importance to me was the first league game of the season against Aberdeen at home, and we almost dropped 2 points here, because even though we got a goal in the 72nd minute of the game thanks to Alex Iacoviti, Liam Boyce missed a penalty 3 minutes from time, and it would have been a great chance for them to get something out of this. Unfortunately for them, they didn't get it, and I'm happy we got away with all 3 points. The next game of great importance to me was the Scottish League Cup second round match against Dundee. This is the final last season, and we beat them by a big margin again, 6-0 this time. It is the biggest victory I've ever had as a manager, and I'm really happy we had a good result. They scored an own goal, Bartolotta got 2 goals, Lowe got a goal, as did Batista and Avocoti. It was also the first game that we had after Bresnick got injured. And I'll show you the game he got injured in now. Yeah, Mark Bresnick got injured against Hamilton in the second game of the league campaign. And it was the game that pretty much said, yeah, he's not going to be playing for a while. The club vice-captain is not going to be here for some time. The next game of great importance to me was the Scottish Premier League game against Rangers. And we had to come from behind twice to get something out of this. And not only did we get something out of this, we managed to win 3-2. So being behind twice to go on and win 3-2 is a big result for me, and it looked really good for us. It really did. The next match that we had was in the Champions League, our first game in the Champions League group stage, and we had Liverpool. And we beat them 2-0. My first ever win in the Champions League group stage, and against a team like Liverpool? That's massive. Absolutely delighted by that. And I hope that in the future we can be a side that can win games generally in the Champions League and not just on the one-off occasion. Really happy with this result. I'm looking forward for the future. The next game of great importance to me was the Scottish League Cup quarter-finals against Rangers, and we beat them 2-0. Last year they knocked us out of the Scottish Cup quarter-final, and so we got our revenge in that regard by beating them by 2-0. The next game of great importance to me was the Champions League group game against Benfica, which we lost by 2-0. They were the better side on the day, even if they had at least 5 yellow cards. But I feel we could have done more. We had as many chances as they did, albeit less shots on target. But I feel we could have done better in this game, and we could have at least gotten a point if we had defended better and not just had moments of madness. Well, not moments of madness, just done better defensively and actually got a goal. But that's just me. The next game of great importance to me was the league game against Hibernia. They were 2-0 up inside 6 minutes. And I genuinely thought we weren't going to get anything out of this, but then we got 2 goals to level things up. And then Alessio Bartolotta missed a penalty in the 66th minute to stop us from getting a win and allowing us to drop points in the league for the very first time this season. The next game of great importance to me was the Champions League group game against Marseille. So the group is Hearts, Liverpool, Benfica and Marseille. And we got a point away from home against Marseille. That's big. That means we've had 4 points in the first 3 matches in the Champions League. The question is, could we beat them in the reverse fixture? And could we do well in the other fixtures? The next game of great importance to me was the Scottish League Cup semi-final match against Celtic, and we drew 2-2, but then we lost on penalties 5-4. We missed out on a 3rd consecutive Scottish League Cup because we missed out on penalties, something we beat Celtic on in the previous couple of years, so that's ironic, really. I'm just hoping that we can bounce back from that and continue to do well. Quite literally, the next game was Celtic in the Scottish Premier League, and we went to their ground and beat them by a single goal. So, Eduardo Andrade getting a goal in the 20th minute, we held on for all 3 points. It's been really good for me. Really good indeed. Our next game was the Champions League group game against Marseille, and we lost 1-0. Now, I feel like we should have done better than this. I think we should have won this match, quite frankly. Even if they had more chances and more possession, I feel we should have done better on the day and gotten at least a point against them. I don't know, but I feel like we've let ourselves down by being beaten here. But that's just me. The next game of great importance to me was the Champions League group stage match against Liverpool at Anfield, and we got beaten 3-1. 2 goals in 1 minute didn't help, plus a penalty as well from Lisandro Vieto, and we were beaten. And it was a game that knocked us out of the Champions League. I felt disappointed with that, I really did. However, next important game, another group game against Benfica in the Champions League. We beat them 2-0. 2 goals in 5 minutes, and I suddenly felt, okay, this could be good. Are we going to go through to the Europa League at least? Even if we did get knocked out of the Champions League, could we still be in Europe because of this victory? And who would go out? The next game of great importance to me was the Scottish Premier League game against Rangers. We beat them 2-0, despite the fact Diego Batista missed a penalty in the 6th minute. And yeah, 2 goals in 3 minutes from those strikers. I'd just taken McCallum off at this point and brought Stephen Miller on, and Miller got a goal, so that's great. 3 minutes on, and he does well for himself. Good times. And here's the next game of great importance to me. Ross County in the Premier League, because it was our first league defeat of the season. And we're in December, just before Boxing Day, and that was our first league defeat. I'm a bit surprised it took so long, really. And that we lost to Ross County of all teams, but there you go. The next game of great importance to me was the Scottish Premier League match against Hibernia, and we lost 2-1 because Jason Cummings got 2 goals, including a penalty, which always makes me feel disappointed. And we only scored thanks to an own goal. In fact, the last 2 goals we've scored in the last 2 matches have only been own goals, so I'm starting to feel concerned, and I think we should do better than that, but that's just me. And that was the last game of the Canada year of 2023 for us. And this is the group for the Champions League. And you know when I said that I feel like we should have done better in our league defeat, in the group stage defeat against Marseille at home? Well, that is made all the more evidence by the fact that if we had beaten Marseille, we would have been 2nd place. And I'm not joking either. It feels really disappointing that Marseille were the only side we didn't beat in this group stage, and that we got a draw away from home but then lost them at home. But hey, we knocked out Liverpool together. Liverpool finished bottom. Benfica got 2nd place. Good God. But who did we get in the first knockout round of the Europa League? Bloody Porto. Again. But hey, Celtic went through, as did Rangers. Rangers took up Chelsea though, so that's going to be a bit difficult for them. And at least Celtic got Copenhagen, right? Oh, also, fun fact, Celtic lost their manager. He left them for a new club, and the new club he left for was none other than AC Milan, so they got a new manager. Good for them. And here's the league table in the Scottish Premier League. We're top by 15 points ahead of full Kirk of all teams. Hibernia are 3rd, Partick Thistle are 4th, Rangers are 5th, Celtic are 6th, and I don't know what to say about this table. It looks like it's on top of its head. It's just doesn't feel right, you know? But that's just me. And it's just really, really weird. I mean, Celtic haven't won their last 5 matches, which is a bit concerning for them. And Rangers, well, they had a really bad spell as well. They're actually in 8th place at one point, which is rather concerning for them. But they're starting to go up the table again. And, yeah, Celtic and Rangers may not even get into Europe as things stand. Imagine if that's the case. And imagine if Falkirk are the team that gets in the Champions League along with Hearts. I can't see myself dropping out of top position now for such a good start. We're only 29 points off what we did last season, and we've got 18 games to go. It would take some really bad form for us to do so badly. And in fact, we're only 28 points what we did to get the league title in the first season. But we are still 38 points of what we did in the 3rd season, but yeah, that's not important. I could be getting my 3rd SPR title, but who's the team that has been linked with me and has had me as the odds-on favourite to take over the job without me even having a job interview? Stoke City sacked Claudio Ranieri, who's also 72 at this point, by the way. They sacked him, and all of a sudden, I was named the favourite for the job. Now, they are in 15th place. They've lost 5 of the last 5 games in the league. I am the odds-on favourite for the job. Evidently, Kelshin is the 2nd favourite. He's the Lazio manager. And the Crystal Palace manager, John Terry, is the 3rd favourite for the job. Now, I'm also eyeing up other jobs. Chelsea could be an interesting job for me, because they have not really done anything good in the last couple of years. Hell, since the first season they finished in 5th place. 4th place is the highest position they've been since 2018. They finished 7th, 8th, 6th, 7th and 6th since 2019. And they've just been really disappointing. Now, a challenge for me would be to get Chelsea into the Champions League and then get them to win the title. They're only expected to finish in 6th place, but who knows, it'd be interesting to see what I can do with that. But yeah, I admittedly said I was open to discussions because it would be an interesting proposition for me, and the fans had named me as the leading candidate 3 days ago, so I could be going there, but I might also think about waiting until the end of the season to see what other jobs come up. I mean, there's jobs like Villarreal who are currently available, and that would be interesting. But yeah, I feel like it could be an interesting job. I mean, Southampton's available. They want mid-table. And there's just a lot of jobs that could come up. I'm very fascinated by what is potentially going to happen. And I want to see what happens in the near future. But that's just me. Anyway, I'm actually going to end this video here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you'll like and share this video. And that you'll subscribe to my channel. It really does help me out a lot. But until next time, goodbye and, well, good night.